for this, yeah, let's definitely start chronologically, and let's sort of take a look at, um, yeah, just I guess we can go over everything that we went through. We should probably preface this with there are going to be a couple things in terms of exact names of who we talked to that we can't disclose. So if we accidentally disclose anyone, just pretend like we didn't.
Sounds good to me. I'll do my best to not disclose anything. But okay, so how did where do we want to start off? Where do we want to start first? Honestly, there's so many people we talked to, so many things we experienced. What was
Yeah,
first?
let's start at the beginning. Wasso was born in a manger. No. So it's definitely start at the beginning with, I mean, guess how we first met. I guess we've been on, multiple calls a day, every single day, working in biz dev together, and we had never actually seen each other face to face. Up until Thursday afternoon, we just simply decided to go meet up for some lunch, and we got to meet each other. I we got to learn a little bit about each other as well. I immediately learned how charitable Wasso is. I think one of my first impressions of him is as we were walking by, he saw someone's shopping cart and decided to put some money in there, and I was definitely impressed with how charitable he was right off the bat. But I think Wasso, if you want, you can even post a picture in the Telegram or something. But as soon as we met each other, we ordered some food and both just got to looking at our phones and started working away. We both got to looking at our phones and just start messaging everyone we could, setting up the meetings for the conference, trying to set up any coffee, lunch, dinner that we could. I guess Wasso, is there anything else you had to say about that?
Yeah, so it started off with Thursday, right? We ended up meeting for Hunter had lunch, I had coffee. We pulled up the agenda of the event, and we just really started identifying, who were the panel speakers. And you guys have to understand, there was 50,000 people at this event. It was crazy, crazy. Like the first day, the line to get in wrapped around I got there maybe 8:15, and I waited for maybe an hour and 15 minutes to get in, and then Hunter showed up literally as I was getting in and kind of cut the line and got in with me. But that was actually pretty funny. But yeah, we the first day we met, we spent a lot of time figuring out who are the important panel speakers that we want to talk to. Most of them were, exchanges or, financial tech companies that, were really making big strides within our space, whether it be in settlements or it be in various technologies to just really improve transactions, and really increase user engagement. So we spent a lot of time identifying those guys. We ended up going to a happy hour Thursday after we met. This happy hour was through a contact that we've been talking to for some time. He is a sports agent who has been introducing us to many, various athletes and other agents. An investor that came to Hoge naturally, and really believed in what we're doing here. Doesn't know too much about the crypto world, but loves the idea of a community project. A lot of people working towards a common goal. I think one of the words he said was, one of the best things of your project that I'm seeing is that it's the best ideas are the ones that reach the top. And that's really what attracted me to your project and your community, outside of the obvious being, the first deflationary meme coin with, obviously a market cap under 100 million, with, some of our competition who even launched after us, who had, significant marketing budgets able to hit, 2, 3, 4 billion, even before, the Bitcoin, decline over the last couple of weeks. So we got invited to a happy hour. This happy hour was pretty awesome. It was a
It was hosted by
Bitcoin.
Certic.
The wasn't the first happy hour we went to? It was a Certic happy hour.
The first one after day one, yeah, that was hosted by Certic.
I thought it was the Bitcoin ATM one, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Never mind. Yes. I'm Wrong.
We'll get to the Certic happy hour. You said let's go in order, so I'm
Yeah,
going in
yeah, yeah.
order.
We're going in order with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after we met, we ended up being invited through the sports agent, who is an investor in a Bitcoin ATM company. And that was really awesome for me. Like first, I learned that I've known this, but I didn't know the exact percentage. Over 20% of the United States is unbanked. These are individuals that are receiving cash only, who maybe don't have the credentials to get a bank account, maybe they don't have the literacy to get a bank account. So there's a lot of people that are interested in crypto, and they use Bitcoin ATMs, and many of these I keep calling them Bitcoin ATMs just because honestly a lot of them call themselves Bitcoin ATMs. However, they're really crypto ATMs, and many of these projects have, obviously Ethereum, Litecoin, but they do have several other ERC20 coins. So we spent a good amount of time talking to two different companies, one of which has 2,500 ATMs nationally. They had mentioned to us that their target market is really like uh, let's call it smoke shops, vape shops, gold selling shops, check cashing businesses, liquor stores, grocery stores, bodegas. These types of businesses is really where these crypto ATMs reside. And honestly, we had a pretty awesome conversation with one of the largest crypto ATM vendors, and they were very interested in Hoge. So, like, one of the
Yeah.
emails I was working on earlier today was scheduling a follow-up meeting with their technology group, and they call them a tech/integration team, to discuss our tokenomics. We would be the first deflationary token on their platform. Should
From what I can tell, also the first DeFi token.
correct
Yeah.
that as well. So yeah, so that's one of the first contacts we made, which for me was just pretty awesome. Like we walked in there, we had our Hoge shirts on. A lot of people there, surprisingly, well, I guess surprisingly is not the right word, but surprisingly knew what Hoge was. You remember this is like this event is really, a Bitcoin event, that draws usually, really Bitcoin maximalist, and it was very Bitcoin focused, but we were very well received at this first event. And, I personally would love to see Hoge available, on ATMs. One of the goals I'm often asked, where do you see Hoge in several years? And I always say I'd like to see Hoge, accessible to everybody. Before we even talk about, all of our use cases, of course, we need all of those and the brand awareness, but really just being available to everybody. Could you imagine not being available to 20% of the US population that entirely operates in cash? So that was, for me, that was something really, really exciting.
Yeah, and that's also a huge thank you to the community, because the community is what made this all possible through your donations for the legal fund. None of these people can even consider you until you have those legal opinions, until you've done that SEC status filing. None of this is possible. They would never consider a token that hasn't done that. And so that's what really opened up these conversations and really made that possible. In total, I think there was four main companies that we reached out to at this dinner. This dinner was very interesting. It was all of the moguls of the crypto ATM world all meeting up together, and it was really interesting from seeing people that had just 350 ATMs to people who had over 3,000 ATMs around the globe. So yeah, it was definitely really beneficial. And we talked about the types of volume that they can bring, and it's definitely exciting. So yeah.
All right. So after that, do you remember where we went? I do.
Do I remember? Yeah. It was all a blur, but yes. No, go ahead, man.
So the next one after that, we ended up meeting up with the chief marketing officer from Gate.io, as well as the business development manager for Gate.io. We they had just finished up a dinner. The CMO is her name is Marie, and the business development manager, her name is Mariella. We met with them after a dinner that they had, and we had meeting up with their restaurant. We probably spent with them, let's say, maybe an hour, really discussing how what can be done to increase volumes on Gate.io, whether it be like a trading competition, or they're going to be supporting us with some articles. And we actually have, when's the meeting? Is it tomorrow or Wednesday?
So I have an additional meeting with the marketing team on Wednesday, and this is the first thing that I would really like to tell the community about. Is one of the things they suggested is they said, "Hey, you clearly have a really creative community. You have a meme-based community. We would definitely," and this, we were counting them about this. We're saying, "Hey, we want to get that volume up on Gate.io. We want to introduce more of the Gate.io community to Hoge. How can we do that? The AMA is going to be very helpful, and how else can we do it?" And they were saying, listen, you have a very creative community too. If there's any ideas in particular that you would like to do to help drive a marketing campaign, ask your community about it. Ask your marketing team about it. And let's see how we can work together on it. So this is the first thing I'll ask the community today is listen, if you have any ideas for a marketing campaign that we can do in partnership with Gate.io, definitely let us know. We'll take votes on it, and we'll see what we can do with it. But they're definitely willing to work to us. They're very interested in the project. They like the project. They've told us this many times, and so they want to work with us to see how we can really get as much as we can out of Gate.io.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like for me, the biggest thing that really resonated, which came out of their CMO's mouth, was that, they viewed us differently than some of these other meme projects. They said that they get so many, and everyone here knows Gate.io lists a lot of different projects. Like their marketing, I apologize, their business strategy is to have free listings where they ask for tokens to help engage their users, and then really they make their money off of trading. So they definitely want to help us increase our trading for that. But in addition to that, they had talked about how professional they felt our team was, and how they were so impressed with our legal opinion. And that's by no credit to anyone other than the community that donated, and of course our attorney Mark, who put that together for us. So it was that was really really great for me too, knowing that while we went launched on Gate.io during the time, which was I think 2 or 3 days after that big dip in Bitcoin, call it a short-term bear week, whatever you want to call it. It was really nice for them to say to us that we recognize that the time you guys launched was not a great time, and we believe in your project, and we'd like to help you guys grow within our community. And they're not looking for any more money from us. That's when that's how I believe people, right? When you talk to someone like this, and they're not asking you for money, rather they're asking you, come to the table with maybe some ideas you have. We're going to come with some ideas they have. They already mentioned, they want to get some articles in some Chinese media, some Korean media, some media within Singapore, as well as maybe we could help them with some content on our end, and they'll push that content through either their Telegram page, their social media pages, or within their own platform. Like on Gate.io, they have a news tab there, and we're really hoping that we could generate some more marketing activity following this meeting on Wednesday. So that was
Yeah.
any other comments on the Gate.io after dinner hangout?
No. It was a lot of fun, man. It was. We got to see a little bit of Miami as well, and it definitely made us start the conference feeling bullish, and it only grew more and more and more from there. By the way, I just have to change Wi-Fi real quick because I'm being forced to move in my hotel lobby. But yeah, I'll be back in 30 seconds. If you want to go ahead, and if you want to, I guess we can talk about the next morning.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about what happened after that. So after we
Yeah.
met them after their dinner, we hung out for like I said, maybe an hour. After that, they wanted to hang out somewhere else, so we ended up moving to like a rooftop bar where my wife and actually one of her friends ended up joining. So we ended up hanging out with them for probably another hour or so. Really learned about how they got involved in this space, and they offered a lot of really good feedback to us. And again, in terms of just always being transparent, this industry is very small. A lot of people know each other, and as long as you continue to do the right things, it was really fun, man. That night for me was really nice. Like, there's been a lot of different sentiments in the community about Gate.io and their volume, and for me, it just made me feel really good to know that they did spend a good amount of time with us, and that, by the way, can you approve him to join us again, Hunter? I think he said he's back in. By the way, he just shot me a text. Um,
Yeah, I don't see the request.
Hunter, if you're listening, please request. So that was the first night, Thursday. Um, the next morning, Friday, I woke up pretty early, maybe like 6:30. Um, got dressed. I ended up staying like in South Beach because my wife was with me and we wanted to stay near the beach. So I woke up pretty early. It was like a 30-minute ride to the convention. I got there, maybe it was like an hour, like I said, hour and a half, hour 20 minutes in line. Finally got into the event. Where again Hunter kind of cut everybody and joined me. And then we started off by just kind of like walking around the booths, trying to figure out which companies had booths. Many of the exchanges didn't. I think the only exchange that had a booth was FTX and Blockfolio. They were one of the largest sponsors. For everyone who doesn't know, by the way, the Miami Heat, the NBA team's arena, recently got named. By the way, he said he just sent the request. I don't know if you see it. The Miami Heat arena just got renamed the FTX Arena. So the FTX really had a big presence at the event. So we started by walking around the event. There was people there from all different companies, and you could identify them. Everyone was kind of wearing their brands, whether it was a polo wearing their logo or a T-shirt, with their company. But we ended up seeing some people from Coinbase. There were some people there from Kraken. There was people there from OKCoin. There was people there from trying to think who are the other ones we saw. There was a representative there from KuCoin. We saw a lot of other projects that were there. There was a bunch of meme coins also came up to us. And I spent a little bit of time also talking to some of the other meme projects out there. Like one of the things we've been discussing internally at Hoge is like, we want to try and come forward with a way to engage with the rest of the other meme coins, and try and find a way where we could kind of bring everyone together in a platform. So that's one of the ideas that we're working towards, and I didn't disclose exactly what we're building and what we're going to be launching, but I did talk to Safe Moon Cash and Shiba Inu and Baby Shark and some of these other coins to see if they had any interest in collaborating on a platform that would bring a lot of these meme projects together, and that was extremely well received. Like just like the collaboration was just it felt very high, especially like when you're looking at like the Twitter world now. It's a lot of it the last couple of weeks, at least in my opinion, has felt like somewhat kind of hostile, like people saying, like Bitcoin only, Doge only, like, so, I didn't get that feeling a lot from the event. It was just very, it was a lot more collaborative. And for me, that was, and I'm going to go into specifics a little bit. I'm just kind of sharing like the overall feel for me, at least until Hunter, I see he's back in with us. But for me, like the general feel was pretty insane. Like, I don't think we had like any somewhat negative interaction with anybody. Everyone was just like, "Whoa, it's Hoge. Hey, Hoge, how are you? I'm invested in Hoge. My friend's invested in Hoge. Tell me more about Hoge." So it was crazy. Like even a lot of like there's some people that we got the opportunity to speak to who I've had, conversations with on some of these large Twitter space interactions, people who are on, usually invited on like David G's page and, Dogecoin Rises page. And, they were so welcoming to us showing up and supporting Bitcoin.
Yeah,
But
it was
Hunter,
really surprising to see. I mean, it was you'll see these people go up on stage and they talk about and they're like, listen, Bitcoin is the way. It is the only good coin, and it's filled with these Bitcoin maximalists. And then we go up to them, we talk to them, we explain to them a little bit about our story, our community, our backgrounds, and where we want to head and the use cases we want to bring. And they're like, okay, this is a great project. This is really awesome. So it was very interesting to see that how welcoming the people were to Hoge. We were a little bit afraid with being a Bitcoin only convention that you would hear, no, Bitcoin's the only thing that matters. And that's what you did hear on stage. And then they'd speak to us and they'd be like, no, this is a really good project. I think there's a lot of potential here.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, so let's go into some details. So I'm having a hard time remembering. What was the first thing we did Friday morning? Like, I remember all
So
of
the
the
first
things
thing
really
we
well.
did, yeah. So the first thing we did Friday morning was we walked around the floor for a while. We walked around the floor. And we tried to see the lay of the land. We knew there were several people in particular that we wanted to talk to. So we went up to their booths, exchanged business cards, tried to set up lunches, coffee, meetings. And then shortly afterwards, I believe Friday, what was it on Friday? Yeah, Friday was when at noon we had the AMA with Gate.io that we had set up. Correct?
Yes, that was
And we had that, yeah, we had that AMA. That was a lot of fun. Other than the fact that we had this spot reserved inside, and I don't think anyone expected this conference to be this massive. But the spot that we had reserved inside, in like I think what they were calling the second media room. As soon as the AMA started, like 100 people walked in, so it got very loud. I was a little bit distracted, but yeah, I think that went really well. So that AMA, I think it was a good introduction to a lot of the Gate users. I think there was 4,000 people watching. So yeah, I think there was that, and then after that, we continued to. This is where we started hunting down people. Wasso and I had done a little bit of research in terms of who would be there, who would be speaking when, and who we needed to get in front of. And this is when Wasso, brought up the idea of just literally like waiting behind back doors for some of these huge speakers and introducing ourselves. And that was the first time we tracked someone down, right, Wasso?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
early after that AMA.
Yeah, definitely. So first, I could definitely be a detective. Definitely want to throw that out there.
Yes.
Definitely want to throw that out there for everybody. I figured out where the entrance is for all of the celebrities and all of the speakers. I figured out how to get into the back, and as people are jumping out of their cars, I'm jumping right at them. But yeah, so there was someone speaking from an exchange which we have been targeting for some time now. They really did not reply to our listing application. We applied and we got a response saying, thank you for applying and we have received your application. This probably goes back, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago. But there was an individual there from this major exchange, USA users, yeah, I waited until this person finished on the panel, and Hunter was waiting on one exit. I was waiting on the other exit. This person ended up walking towards me, and I ended up stopping them and just talking for a couple of minutes about Hoge, and they had said to me like, look, I'm super, super busy. Like, is it okay if we connect? Like, I'm not dodging you, but I promise, like, here's my business card. Shoot me a text or a WhatsApp message and I'll, we'll get in contact later today. So I said, okay, no problem. Shot them a note. Later in the day, I reached out again, no response. literally no response. Felt like I kind of got ghosted. To us was like, hey guys, like I only have 30 minutes. And we are like, okay, no problem at all. Um, so, we started talking about our project, and like the conversation was just really fascinating. Like it was, and this person, just so I could explain their role, they are the senior vice president or executive vice president of OTC/institutional sales. So this is somebody who works directly for the CEO of this, major exchange. And they had said to us, like, look, first, that listing inbox that you sent. By the way, Hunter dropped off again. I don't know where he is, but
No, no, I'm here now. Sorry.
oh, are you?
I'm at this hotel right now, and for some reason their Wi-Fi keeps shutting off, so I just went to 5G instead.
Oh, no problem. So yeah, so we man, what was the last thing I said? I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
I heard you talking about so this person that we were able to meet up with. So you already told?
With them, and they told us that they only have 30 minutes, and then I'll keep going, and then feel free to cut me off. I'm not trying to talk 30 minutes, and then I'll keep going, and then feel free to cut me off. I'm not trying to talk the entire time. By the way, for everyone here, I actually have like a pretty serious like sore throat. I think the person on the airplane next to me on the way home was like kind of like coughing, and like they kept clearing their throat. And I don't know if it's that I talked a lot today, even though that's definitely it. Like I've been on the phone all day, but my throat is definitely hurts. So I'm gonna keep going a little bit, and then I'll let you take over.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're sitting down. They tell us they only have 30 minutes, and we start talking about, I didn't really want to start talking about the project first. We started asking, Hunter was asking some amazing questions like, how did you get involved in this space? Like, why did you exit, the previous industry you were in, etc. And we just really, got, this person talking, and the conversation got so comfortable so quickly, and like 30 minutes had gone by, and we were really only talking about this individual. And then finally they said to us, okay, tell me about your project. And we started telling them about our project and how we don't have a marketing budget, and it's truly community driven, and we're putting together a hybrid DAO with the intentions of the community having the ability to vote. We had talked about, some of the use cases we're looking to bring forward. They loved that, we were the first deflationary token to be audited by CertiK. And it was literally, I think the words that came out of this person's mouth was, it is such a breath of fresh air to talk to you guys. Like, this is what crypto was supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a get rich quick, create a coin. It's supposed to be a community of people coming together, supporting each other, attempting to, achieve, not just a transactional token, but really a community that can support each other through, not just necessarily use cases, but just really being supportive for each other. And it was really kind of like fascinating to hear.
Yeah, I think one of the other exact things she said was it's almost unheard of to see like a new token these days doing DeFi done right. And what that means is the fact that we had that fair launch, no ICO, no token set aside. It's there's no real company running anything. There's the Hoge Association that's there to protect the trademark, and sign on behalf of the community, and that's really it. And so they're saying it's so nice to like actually see someone like doing true DeFi.
Yeah, definitely. So this person, after listening to our project for no joke, an hour after the 30 minutes had passed, we had spent like an hour and a half with them. Finally, they had told us that the way listings work on not just like their platform, but like really most platforms, especially like recently over the last like several months, where exchanges are getting blasted with like dozens, literally dozens of listing requests daily from projects, it really comes down to their CEO. And I heard this from a few exchanges this weekend, that the CEO of these organizations really handpicks or uh, is the final person to approve a project. But without that approval from the CEO, there's no listing. So we got a commitment. I want to add, like, she volunteered to help us. We put
Yeah.
together, yeah, like when I say the word, we got a commitment. Like, we didn't ask. Like, she, like, straight up said to us, please send me the following: your team, your white paper, your legal opinion, your contract, your website. Send us, your roadmap. And she committed to speaking to the CEO, who she speaks with daily. Now, think about it, right? This person is the head of institutional sales, dealing with major organizations. A lot of times, these major organizations, they go directly to the CEO. So her and the CEO interact directly, especially since, she reports to him. She speaks to him several times a day. And she committed that, she would have a conversation with her CEO, sharing why she believes that Hoge should be listed on their platform. So that, for me, was one of probably the best takeaways from this trip, was this commitment that we got from this individual to help us, get in front of their CEO. So that was, anything else we want to add about this specific interaction?
No, nothing in particular. I think you covered it really well. I was just, yeah, I was extra bullish after this, because this is someone who gets pitched every single day on a million different projects, and the fact that we just got to have a familial conversation with her, a nice, relaxed conversation, and she agreed that this is a project that she truly believes in and wants to see succeed, and is willing to do all of this for us for nothing it was amazing to us. But yeah, it was, to tag on a little bit of what you're saying, it was a little bit interesting. A couple notes to tag on to what you were saying about the CEO choosing. It was really interesting to see how small of a world this is. It's trillions of dollars of market cap, and in crypto in general, and it's everything like that. But it seems like everyone knows each other. And it's almost a little bit, for better or worse, it's probably for worse, but it is a little bit of a political game, in terms of getting these contacts, getting in front of the right people. Because unfortunately, we did hear a lot of times, for the biggest exchanges in the world, they said that their listing queue can oftentimes be a black box that you need someone's help to get out of. And I think at this conference, we definitely succeeded in meeting all the right people to help us get out of that black box, to help us get in front of the right people, start these conversations. We have the business cards of someone from just about every exchange we could want to be on. We have someone's business card from that exchange now, and their direct phone number. So that was absolutely beneficial to us, and not just exchanges. We're talking business partnerships, business opportunities. I think that we talked a lot with Prime Trust, and that's something we can get into later. But yeah, I mean, there's as well as different payment providers and different service offers and different NFT companies and different NFT marketplaces. We got the right context for all of that from this. But yeah, so Wasso, I think after this, let's talk a little bit about that evening where we went to an after party hosted by Certic. So yeah, that evening, after just hounding down everyone we possibly could at this conference, we got to go to this after party hosted by Certic. There's a lot of money in crypto, apparently, so there were lots of open bars sponsored by different companies. So that was definitely a lot of fun. At this party, we got to talk to a lot of people at Certic. We got to talk to the person who actually did our audit, and we got to talk to him about how they really liked our project and how it was a pleasure to do our audit. As well as that, we got to talk to their head of business development. I had a pretty long conversation with their head of business development in terms of what they have upcoming, how we can continue to work together. Hoge, man, and I did that AMA with them fairly recently. But in addition to that, one of the things I'm super excited for is they are. Everyone knows Certic is one of the most trusted names in all of crypto. That's what they built their brand on, as being this very trusted name. And one of the things they're looking into doing fairly soon is actually taking over people's smart contracts for them and executing certain actions on their smart contract. For those that don't know, there's three people who have access to a multi-sig wallet who can do just a couple things. I think Hoge is in the call, and he can, of course, explain this way better than I can. But it is myself, Jay Rocco, and Hoge. And there's only really one power that we have, and it's if we all get together, we can vote to exclude a wallet from redistribution. And that's really the only thing we can do with it. And what that's used for is there's certain exchanges that that if they choose not to airdrop to all their users from their redistribution, we will exclude them from redistribution altogether. That's the case for Gate.io, that's the case for Whitebit, that's the case for Big One, where they don't receive any redistribution because they aren't airdropping that redistribution to their users. So that's the power we have. Now, even that, in a true DeFi system, it's too much power. We don't want any power. So what Certic is setting up is they're actually allowing people to hand over the keys to their smart contract to Certic for true DAOs and DAO hybrids like ourselves, where the community gets to vote on something, and then Certic's main job is just to hold the keys to the smart contract and act on behalf of the community. That means we get to give up our keys. Trust me, none of us want the keys to the multi-sig wallet for the smart contract. And we get to hand it over to Certic, and Certic acts on behalf of the community. So if the community votes, hey, we want to exclude this wallet, we want to exclude, let's say we're getting on Binance in X amount of time, they get to vote and say, hey, we want to exclude Binance from the wallet or not. And then Certic will act on our behalf for that. So that was something that was really excited for us, just being able to hand over those keys. Wasso, is there anything else you want to say about that?
Yeah, I'll add a little thing. Like that was a note on our audit, right? Like Hunter said, it was a minor remark, but it was nevertheless a risk. And we've really tried. Like, our intention is to make sure that whoever deserves the Hoge reflection or redistribution gets it. So if you're a Hoge holder on, let's say, Whitebit, for example, or Big One, BKX, Gate.io, whatever, we want all of those people to be able to get the accurate amount of reflection based on their wallet size. And it's very unfortunate that this deflationary tokenomics, currently exchanges aren't able to integrate them. And the way we've been proceeding is, we don't want an exchange to collect all their users' Hoge. There's the fear of them dumping on us one day. There's, just the fear of what are they going to do with it. So we always get in writing from the exchanges that we have their permission to exclude them from the wallet. But I personally believe the next best thing is having a trusted third party, especially one of the most recognized auditors, take on that responsibility for us. For a start, it would definitely improve our audit score with Certic, as well as, really de-risk the fear that, two of the three wallet holders would, collude, which is crazy, to exclude a wallet from redistribution, even though, it's not a huge function. It's nevertheless a risk when analyzing risks, and I love eliminating all risks. So for me, it was amazing to hear that. And I walked in on the tail end of that conversation that Hunter had with their BD and their head of engineering. But the part that I heard was the head of BD saying, you guys might be our first smart contract that we hold if you're up for it. And for me, that would be something amazing. Now, of course, this would be something that, we would put up for the community to vote on. But as Hunter said, like a lot of the guys who are holding the smart contract now, they're very honest people who don't want to hold it. Like, it's just the truth. I'm not one of them. It's like he said, it's Hunter, it's J Rock, and it's Hogeman, right? So it would be really nice to have that responsibility taken off of us and be given to a trusted third party and continue to bring transparency, to our project. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's continue on. At that Certic party, we met a lot of institutional investors. These are people who just made a obscene amount of money on crypto in the early days, whether it's from investing in Bitcoin in 2010 or 11, or it's just very rich people. This was sort of an insider event, and we met a lot of people who we just talked their ear off about Hoge, and they want to work with us. And those are, again, really exciting to see. These are people, whether they are regular brokers of crypto, whether they are business development people, whether they are just simply investors with big followings. We met a lot of people who we got to tell the good word about Hoge. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the Certic dinner. So then, yeah, I guess, is there anything else that happened that night in particular you want to talk about, Wasso, or should we move on the next day?
Well, after that Certic dinner, I mean, after the Certic happy hour, didn't we go to the Prime Trust party after?
Ah, yes, you're right. That was actually, yes, that was right afterwards. The Prime, so for those of you who aren't aware what Prime Trust is, they are probably the biggest silent people in crypto. They don't put their name on anything, but they are probably some of the biggest people in crypto. They're actually originally a bank out of, I believe, was it Utah or Nevada? But they are a bank, and they handle all of the KYC, all of the AML, and all of the fiat on ramp for pretty much all the big names. We're talking about Binance, we're talking about Bittrex, we're talking about OKCoin, we're talking about a lot of these major exchanges. We're talking about Gate.io and their fiat on ramp. They handle all of that for all these massive exchanges. So they're some of the biggest people in crypto, but they don't put their name on anything, so they're fairly silent. But they have a lot of money, so they were hosting this dinner. Now, at this dinner, Wassa, I'll let you talk a little bit in just a little bit about some of the investors that you met. I was able to meet, we sort of split up there, but I was able to meet some of the people from my favorite. Oh God, I'm trying to see. We're not allowed to say the name of the exchange, but I was able to meet almost everyone that I wanted to meet from my favorite exchange for us to get on. I got all their business cards, I got all their telegrams, and was casually trying to push drinks their way. And it was actually a really, really fantastic event where we got to meet a lot of these people, and we got to meet the listing team. We got to meet a lot of their OTC people. We got to meet a lot of their business development people, and we have additional meetings to follow up with them and see about what it takes to get listed on their exchange and what type of partnerships we can create there. I have two follow-up meetings this week with them. This is something that I'm extremely excited about. Again, yeah, probably my number one exchange of the exchange I want to get on more than anyone. We'll definitely keep the community updated as that happens and see what comes of it. Also, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the institutional investors and some of the other people that you met?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, like Hunter said, we split up a little bit at that event. He spent the bulk of the time with this major U.S. exchange, and I spent a lot of time with the owner of the VC that is the lead investor of Prime Trust. This guy was very, very cool. He was really fascinated by our project, and he went around the room and he introduced me to several of his investments. One of them being a website called Brave.com. It's a more secure browser than let's call it like a Chrome or like a Safari. They have over 3 million users, and they're very, very interesting. Like everyone should definitely take a couple of minutes when they get a chance and go on Brave.com and just really see what they're building there. They have, creators and advertisers, and they've built like this platform where there's incentives for their users to be creators and for advertisers to reward the users and creators for looking at their advertisements. And it was very interesting. They have a native ERC20 token that they use for transactions. We had talked a bunch about Hoge, and us being a deflationary token. There's still going to be much discussions before we have the opportunity to become the platform, the token on their platform. But the conversation really was about our NFT mint. How can we bring the creativity of Hoge, like they're the owner of this VC firm, maybe one of the wealthiest people I've ever met, literally said to me, "I do not understand how your project with no marketing has reached a market cap of 100 million." He's like, I simply don't understand how you guys were able to achieve that with nobody on payroll. It was just a constant like repeating that of, I don't understand how you did that. So he got me in front of their head of Brave.com. I have a few action items. I haven't gotten to it yet, but tomorrow I'll be sending over an email to them, and there'll be a meeting between the Hoge team and the Brave.com team, where Hoge is going to have to come forward and come up with synergies and ways we can support the users of that platform, perhaps via our NFT mint, perhaps where there's many options when you're looking to creatively collaborate with an organization that sees value in you, right? They see the value in our energy, in our our technology, in our ability to really market with no budget. And they have access to 3 million users on their platform, which is an insane amount of users. And they've definitely they committed to us that they were definitely going to be Hoge investors personally. However, they did want us to get more involved with their portfolio of companies. So one of them was Brave.com. The other one was Prime Trust, obviously, that Hunter was talking about, and we spent a bunch of time with Prime Trust. There's possibilities of creating a swap on our website with potentially like a fiat on ramp. Now, obviously, we're doing our best to make sure we stay away from being classified as a security. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't know exactly how having a fiat on ramp on our website would work. I just know that this is something that came out of this meeting, and I want to bring forward our most technical minds on our group, as well as, of course, our attorney who has the legal opinion of us, and we definitely do not want to do anything that would hinder that legal opinion. But it was just amazing to me that the the owner of this VC, a guy who's worth, I was told, over $1 billion, was introducing me to the CEO of Prime Trust, saying, "I want you to help Hoge out. Hoge is going to help our other platforms out." And then finally, the third company that he's a major investor in that he introduced me to was a very large Indian-based exchange that they have. I think he said it was over like 30 or 40% of owners of that exchange. So we have a follow-up meeting. I don't think it's going to be this week. The CEO said he was going to be spending some more time in the United States with family, and he was going to be getting back to India. I think he said the 12th or 13th, which is, I think, like maybe next Saturday or Sunday. So maybe the following week, like a week from now, 10, 12 days from now, I'm going to set up a Zoom call where we can talk to them about getting added to their platform. And, I'm definitely plan on leveraging our relationship with their investor, who's been, responding to all of my texts, and we've been communicating over the last couple of days. So, for me, that was a pretty awesome contact that we made. But yeah, during the Prime Trust party, that's where I spent the bulk of my time. I also definitely like spent time with a bunch of guys there that just, invest in a lot of different like low cap projects. And you know they received us the same as everybody else. Like, we've heard of Hoge, like don't know too much about Hoge. They loved our new white paper. So it was really really nice. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
it was
think.
really
Was
good.
there anything else that came out of that Prime Trust party that night?
Other than a hangover, not really. There was, yeah, it was obviously, I spent the majority of the night, talking with this exchange that I was super excited about. As soon as I found out they were at the party, I was like, I was talking to them, I was like, introduce me. So yeah, that's where I spent the majority of the time. And yeah, I think there was a whole lot of good things to come out of that particular party. But yeah, if there's nothing else, I think we should move on to the next day. Now, actually, there's one. Yeah, there. We had some further talks with Prime Trust, but I guess that's something we can get into a little bit later. Prime Trust had some ideas for using Hoge as a case study that would absolutely set us apart from almost any token in our space. So that's something that we'll definitely get into in a little bit and see if it's remotely possible.
Definitely.
So the next day, yeah. So if you want to, let's go on to the next day.
Okay. What happened the next day? Remind me.
So the next day was a Saturday, correct? We got there, and again, as soon as we got there, we did the same old of going from booth to booth to booth to booth. I see Jeremy Wilson is in the call. Jeremy is working on several projects right now. For those of you who haven't met Jeremy, by the way, he's an absolute all-star, and doing a lot of amazing things for Hoge. But there are some people in particular that I got to talk to in the NFT space, who have some really groundbreaking tech, that I think would work perfectly for one of the projects that Jeremy's introduced us to, and really help secure this amazing partnership. But beyond that, yeah, we walked around to the floor for a while, and that is where we had our further talks with Prime Trust about this situation, with them being able to. They said, listen, we really like your project. We traditionally do not work with these smaller market cap projects. I mean, these are the people who literally they run everything for Binance, for Kraken, for OKCoin, for Bittrex, for FTX. They're the people behind it, doing all of their fiat on ramp and KYC and AML. And they had some very interesting ideas about how they wanted to become a part of Hoge and help grow Hoge. After hearing about our project, so I'm extremely grateful that we have some very good connections to Prime Trust now. Other than that, yeah, was there anyone in particular that you want to talk to about the people we met from the booths or from the speaker events?
Yeah, so there's one guy there that I really wanted to talk to. Um, his name is Dan Held. He's the head of growth for Kraken. For anyone that spends time like on Twitter, he's often has Twitter Spaces up. He's very often in along with the Doge community. Um, for me, that was really awesome. So like I've been following Dan for a while. He actually has a program online, and like an educational program called the Growth School. I actually signed up for one of his classes a couple of weeks ago. I think it was like $100, but it was like how to improve your Twitter account. Um, so we ended up bumping. So we ended up seeing him, and he was like, there was like a whale booth, which was like 20. By the way, tickets to this event were so expensive. Like just the general admission ticket was $1,500, and then the whale ticket was $20,000. But we didn't have whale tickets. We're not whales yet. But the at the whale booth was where they had like free food, and that's where like Kevin O'Leary Leary and Jack Dorsey from, the CEO of Twitter and Square, and like Ron Paul, and like all of the panel speakers. That's where they were spending their time when they weren't on stage on a panel. So we saw, like, I told Hunter pretty early on, I was like, hey man, like, I've been following this guy for a while. Like, I want to, like, get in front of him and just say hi. And like, I didn't usually, like, this guy walks really fast, so it's kind of like difficult, like when you see him, to like just get in front of him and pretend like you're there organically.
We had a 30 no, not 30, we had a 15-second window when he was walking from his conversation with a bunch of other CEOs into the whale room. And it was really a 15-second window. And Wasso and I were just watching him, and the moment that he started to walk away, we were like, okay, go, 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 go.
Yeah,
We ran after him,
I'm not
and I
gonna lie,
ran up, and
man. I hesitate. Like, look, honestly, man, I always tell it how it is. Like, I hesitated. I was like, dude, am I really gonna chase this guy? And Hunter was like, yes. And he ran after this dude. And
I
as he
ran
was
after
getting
him.
his badge checked at the whale pass, Hunter taps him on the back, and the guy turns around. He's like, hi. And we were like, hey, how are you? He looked at us and was like, good. And I was like, you're Dan Held, right? He was like, yeah, I am. And I was like, I actually signed up to your growth school and I took your Twitter improvement class. And the guy was like, no way. He's like, I've never met anyone before that's actually signed up to one of my schools in person. And I kind of like made like a funny, smart remark. I was like, yeah, that would make sense. Your program's been around for like 2-3 months and it's been COVID. And we kind of like laughed about it a little bit. And the guy said to us, like, dude, it was crazy. The guy literally took out his phone. We asked him if he could take a couple minutes to talk to us. He literally took out his phone, showed us both his calendar, and he said, please look at my calendar. He goes, I'm 5 minutes late for a meeting in here, and I am booked this entire weekend. I have 30
Until like
minute block.
1 a.m. every night.
Dude, it was
Yeah.
crazy. Like I thought I had a busy schedule, like between my job and Hoge, but this guy had 30-minute meetings from like 8 a.m. all the way till night. It was nuts. But he said to
But
us,
he did say, yeah, I mean, he did say, he said, listen, take my email down. I'm going to give you my personal email, not work email. I'm going to give you my personal email. Take it down, and please shoot me an email. And if I don't respond, shoot me another one. And let's set up a call for soon, not during the conference, but once this conference is over, let's set up a call. And let's talk about your project a little bit. And we were like, okay, absolutely, this is amazing. So we were definitely glad that we chased this poor guy down.
yeah, definitely, man. It was that's the other thing. Like, so I've been in business development for like the last 10 years, and like business development is no different across any industry. Like, crypto is all online, obviously, right? Telegram, which is even more anonymous than, let's call it, like LinkedIn or any one of those platforms. But real relationships are built in person. Like, when the guy told us to email him, he was like, make sure you tell me that you're the guy that met me at the convention and bought my program, and you wanted to talk to me about your project so I can remember you. Like, it was just like that little you know, and by no means am I saying we're going to get listed on Kraken, right? Nor am I saying we're not getting listed on Kraken. All I'm saying is that we managed to get in contact with the head of growth for Kraken, and we're gonna, have an opportunity to, share our project with them and see what they say. So that was another pretty awesome thing, and definitely thank you, bro, for not hesitating, because I definitely like hesitated. I was like, I'm not gonna let this guy catch me running after him, and then he like runs away inside. That's all I kept thinking of. I was like, oh my god, that'd be so bad.
No, it was worth it, man. It was worth it. So yeah, definitely got we chase after him. Hopefully that leads into something amazing. So beyond that, man. So listen, I know we don't have too much time left. But I definitely think that is there are. Do you want to do a quick recap in terms of the most important things that came out of this with me, Wasso?
Do we want to talk about the happy hour we were at before we went to the hotel to meet her?
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, we do. So
I'll let
we
you.
went to a happy hour hosted by a exchange, a U.S. exchange. And this particular U.S. exchange is someone that we've been going after for a while. And we've had a couple talks with them, and we are at a good point, and we're at a fairly decent point. But we wanted things to move a little faster with them. And so we went to this happy hour that they were hosting, and we were able to talk to them, and we went straight up to their head of listing, and we said, "Listen, I've seen your names in emails. It's good to put face to a name." And then we're saying, "Listen, well, we just want to know, where we at in terms of listing processes." And they said, "Actually, you're at the top of the list. We will, be doing a further review very soon." We told them a little bit about our project and what they'll find in that review and what they'll find in their vetting process. And they're like, "Listen, if that's the truth, then this is, things are definitely looking good." So so I think being able to track them down, and we even got them to agree to say, "Hey, listen, we'll make sure we get this done ASAP." They've been dealing with absolute insanity from the SEC recently, in terms of the different restrictions, the different changes in regulations and compliance that's going on in the U.S. But they talked to us and they said, "Okay, yeah, no, we're pushing this up, and we're going to make this happen quickly. We're going to, start a more serious process very quickly." So we were really excited to hear that. Beyond that,
I can
I
add.
spotted one of the. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can. I can. I want to add one more thing before you go on to what you spotted. So first, that happy hour was pretty awesome because, like, we had on our roadmap a U.S. exchange, before the end of Q2, which is like 3 weeks away, and it was with this specific exchange was the one that we were really targeting, where we felt that they were excited about us, and we of course were ecstatic about them. And then the conversation kind of stopped. I'm not gonna lie to everybody, and I learned during this trip why that conversation stopped, and the reason is a lot of these big exchanges are attempting to follow what Coinbase did. They're preparing themselves for IPOs, and they want to make sure that they don't have anything on their platform that would hinder, delay, affect their IPO process. And we heard that from 3 different USA exchanges. The one that Hunter talked to the night of the Prime Trust party, when I was talking to the VC, the individual that we spoke to at the lobby of her hotel while having coffee, and this exchange who was hosting this happy hour that we had previously been in contact with. All of them said the same exact thing, that exchanges now are being very, very careful with who they bring onto their project. And for me, it was reassuring to hear that, because for a couple of not a couple, I won't say for like the last 2 to 3 weeks, I definitely was concerned about like, are we getting ghosted? Is this exchange BSing us? But that wasn't the case at all. They were just making sure that they get their regulatory filings ready, and they want to make sure that any project that they bring on doesn't hurt that. And we didn't really have the opportunity to explain to them our project. Like, when you're communicating with somebody via email, they get like in my day job, I get like 110 emails a day, and I'd imagine these senior level individuals at these corporate type of these corporate structured exchanges are the same, right? Their emails are flooded, and it really took spending time with them in person and explaining to them that we do have a legal opinion, and we did have a fair launch. We did not have tokens allocated to a project team. We did not have an ICO, which it was really that dialogue that really, for me, at least in my opinion, Hunter, and you could definitely comment if you felt the same or differently, was when she had said to us that, like, guys, I'm sorry, like, I know we started off really hot, we slowed down, like, I'm gonna get back to you guys very, very shortly. to get moving to the next steps, to a point where there was also a comment made to their head of marketing. Like, she looked over at their head of marketing and said, "Hey, you might want to talk to these guys soon. You're going to be working with them eventually." So for me, I took that. My takeaway from that was, okay, we were told by the head of listing that they're going to, re-engage us, sometime in the coming days, as well as, introducing us to their head of marketing, saying, "Hey, you're going to be working with these guys soon." So for me, it was really reassuring that, we're not that far from a USA exchange. Was that your similar takeaway?
Yeah, same, man. One thing I definitely want to add to that is a couple different people actually told us it was really, really helpful. The fact that Gate.io has already approved us for US listing. That means US citizens can trade freely for Hoge in every state except for New York. Sorry, Wasso.
And Washington.
In Washington. Yeah. So they're basically Gate.io's CLO, or chief legal officer, took a look at our legal opinion that, again, this is what the community would pay for. This is what the community raises those legal funds for. They took out our legal opinion and they said, hey, there's no this is one of the most clearly and strongly written legal memos I have read. They're absolutely not a security. Let's go ahead and list them in the U.S., which is pretty rare to happen on Gate.io tokens. So that is what allowed us to be traded there. And a lot of these exchanges, these big U.S. exchanges, told us, they said, listen, nobody likes being the first one because there's an additional layer of liability when you are the first person to list someone. Now, if you're the second one, you have this plausible deniability of, oh, they already did it. But the fact that Gate.io has already approved us to be traded in the U.S. helps so much. And they all said, when we talked to that person, they said we didn't even know that because we had started these conversations before Gate.io had actually listed us to be traded in the U.S. So they're saying that helps so much. It's going to speed up the process with legal. It's going to speed up the process with our regulatory submissions. So that's been really big. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. So what else do we have? We talked about the exchanges. We talked about a lot of the investors we met. We talked about, okay, so we can talk a little bit about some of the other other tokens, the other projects we met a little bit. You know what, actually? Let's talk about the
Wait.
let's talk about the
No.
shitcoin festival.
Oh yeah. So Wasso and I went to shitcoin 2021. We took a break from going to Bitcoin 2021, where they're all Bitcoin maximalists. Like Bitcoin is the only token that matters. Blah 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 blah. And we went to the shitcoin convention, and it was hilarious.
Hold on,
We were
before we say anything,
yeah.
could we just talk about the price difference for 1 second, please?
So you have the whale pass at Bitcoin 2021, which is
20 grand.
I think $20,000. Then you have the
general
regular pass,
admission.
which by the time that we bought, for the general admission was $1,500. By the time we bought, we were a little bit late, but it's $1,500. And we go to the shitcoin convention, like, oh man, again, there's no dev funds for this type of things. There's no token set aside for these types of trips. So everything we did, Wasso and I were paying out of pocket from our day jobs. And they're like, oh man, I don't want to pay too much, but we got to go to this. There are going to be some good people to meet there. And we get to the door and they're like, oh yeah, it's like $5. $5. We're like, okay, sure. So we paid $5 and got in.
$5
and yeah. It was absolutely ridiculous. Right? There's this big shit. That shitcoin convention was literally founded by people who were sick of these snobs at the Bitcoin convention saying that you can't even talk about other coins, which we spent a lot of time doing and was well received. But this was founded by people who were sick of that, and they made it the same days, the same time, just down the street from the Bitcoin convention as an FU. We get in there, it was a very different vibe. rather than these booths that cost $200,000, $250,000 just set up, and these speakers from around the world, like Ron Paul, and these huge names. Instead, it was like these names of like some people you've never heard of speaking, like just some random dev from some project 2 years ago. It was a very, very different vibe in there, but there were some actually really good contacts for there, and we were very immediately recognized and very immediately praised. But from wearing our Hoge shirts, everyone was excited to see Hoge there. Everyone was excited to see, what we had going on, and they wanted to learn more. And yeah, I guess.
I felt famous.
Wasso, do you want to talk a little bit about? Yeah, we felt fairly famous. Wasso, do you want to talk just a little bit about the main people we met
Yeah,
there in
definitely.
terms of what they can offer for Hoge in terms of wallets?
Yeah, definitely. So first, I definitely felt famous when I walked in. Like everyone was like, "Hoge, oh shit, Hoge is in the house. Hoge is here," and I was like, "Whoa, what is up, everybody?" But yeah, we ended up talking to like a lot of different parties. Here again, we're working on a use case now, still keeping it a little bit on the DL, where we're trying to work together with other meme projects. So I got contacts of a bunch of people there, some people that are involved with Shiba Inu, some people that are involved with like Safe Moon Cash. I said I have Baby Shark earlier. Then there's like one that I don't even know exactly what it is, but its token is like HOKK, and they've kind of been like a meme coin that's been kind of growing a little bit. So all of these guys were really receptive to like, the meme world working together because it's very clear now that there's a place in this world for meme tokens, right? Doge, thank you very much, hitting an all-time high of like almost 100 billion, hovering around whatever it is now, 30, 40 billion. And then, a couple others have followed like around that 3, 4, 5, 6, $7 billion market cap. So like we know there's a place for projects like ours, within that, that type of market cap. So it was really nice to see that everyone was very, very interested in collaborating with Hoge. It did not feel by any means hostile. It was just very, very friendly, which was not what I expected. But we did talk to an organization there who specializes in creating wallets. So from my understanding, they are the developers of Trust Wallet. So for anyone out there that has used Trust Wallet before, what they offer is the ability to make a wallet that would be branded by the project. So imagine we could have like Hoge Wallet, and we could brand it as Hoge Wallet. It could be on our website, potentially if there are no security issues and we're able to, move forward with Prime Trust, to do, let's say, like a fiat swap on our site. And again, very early conversations of this. There is also the possibility of having a Hoge Wallet where, you can add like messages. You can, very easy to like, resend, transactions to, people that, you regularly transact with. And it's just a personalized Hoge wallet. This was something to me that seemed pretty cool. We got like some preliminary pricing on what something like that would cost. And I think this will definitely be something that, we'll go to the community and see if this is something of interest. But it was really, really, really fascinating to meet those guys and to meet everyone at the Shitcoin Fest. It was, like Hunter said, the
Yeah.
vibe was completely different. Like one of them was like, honestly, it was like beer cans and pot, and the other one was, for those who don't know what pot is, like marijuana, weed, whatever, right? And the other one was like vodka and Macallan's, but it
Yeah.
was very, very, very different, but extremely positive, both experiences.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic experience. Now listen, so I do have to go a little bit soon. So if you want to, Wasa, what do you say we recap a little bit of the good news, and we can just go from there, and then we'll start bringing some of the good news to the community to vote on to figure out the best ideas for. everything like that. So if you want, please just stop me whenever you feel like it, or if you have anything to add. So the very first good news is talking with Gate.io and their openness to create a whole new marketing campaign for us and partner with us to bring our volume up. That is where we want to ask the community to come up with some of these ideas, with how you would like to see Gate.io begin, promoting Hoge, and how you like to see us work together, and what we can do to sort of to grow as to become a more popular coin there. Now, in addition to that, there is the Certic. Certic is developing this use case, which we may potentially get to be the very first people to adopt, which will allow us to hand over our control of the smart contract to who's arguably the most trusted name in crypto, and that not only is a load off of our shoulders, it establishes more trust with the community. Not to mention, it greatly will drive up our Certic audit score, which is already really high, and now we'll get to be potentially near the very, very top of the list. So that's something we're really excited for. Beyond that, there is this Prime Trust deal, which again, this is still a long shot. This is something that we definitely need to look more into. But we would essentially, they are interested in working with us to set up something that would set us completely apart from almost any token out there. Shiba has Shiba Swap. Sushi has Sushi Swap. There's several different things. We would be, as far as I know, the first token out there with our own swap with fiat on ramp, which I know is huge for accessibility, for introducing new people, because Hoge is already so big into introducing new users. It's a lot of people's first or second crypto that they buy. Wasso, I'll let you take over. There's a couple more good news in terms. I'll let you take those over.
Definitely. We definitely, as a community, need to spend a little bit of time on Brave.com and try and figure out ways where we can collaborate with them. There is a very high interest, like I said earlier, for collaboration with them, and they have 3 million users. So definitely hoping, anyone here that has ideas, let's start brainstorming. I'm not the most technical guy. Everybody knows that. So definitely, hoping for some support and some collaboration from all of us. Definitely, I'm going to be reaching out to this Indian exchange. Hopefully we get an offer and we'll bring that forward to the community, see what interest there is. Of course, we mentioned that, we're talking now to, 2 U.S. exchanges at a pretty high level, with the third being Kraken, where hopefully a meeting will arise. The Kraken meeting is again preliminary, very early, but the audience is definitely there. And then I also have a bunch of follow up to do with this investor from Prime Trust, Indian Exchange, and Brave.com. He wants to do a follow up call with us, get to know our team, and see if this is something that makes sense for his investment firm to get involved in. I discussed with him the liquidity pool and how that works, and he wanted to learn a little bit more about that. So there's a lot of opportunities that came out of this, and for me, the biggest takeaway was we need to continue to show up to every one of these Bitcoin conventions. It doesn't matter if it's in Dubai, if it's in San Francisco, the last one was in Dubai, this one was in Miami. I know there's an upcoming one in San Fran in a couple of months. I definitely plan on attending that. But that's really how we're going to continue to, build face-to-face relationships with these people, continue to get the audience that we need, and not just rely on, submitting a listing online. Not to say that that's what we've done so far. We try and get in contact with them via LinkedIn. We try and get in contact with people via their Telegram, but it's entirely different when you have a face-to-face with somebody, and it brings so much more credibility to a project and trust, and just this was really a great experience for me, and I'm honestly so happy that I was able to attend and really do my best. And I know Hunter did his absolute best to represent our community, and let the world know that, what Hoge is trying to do. Like that's really, for me, we're a few steps away from, being able to do a lot of different things. And those steps to me are very simple. We need to get on a platform that allows us to have fiat transactions with not just US users, but users around the world. Actually, there is something I missed, by the way. Do you remember who we met when we were grabbing lunch? There was a guy walking by. Do you remember that?
Wait, which day and which lunch?
It was lunch at the food trucks outside. It was two people walking away. Do you remember that?
Yeah. The listing team
Yes.
for yes, the listing team walked by for someone that we are very interested in a partnership with. And yeah, we definitely got all their contact info and have a meeting set up soon.
Yeah.
This is not a top five U.S. exchange, but for several reasons, it's an exchange that we are very interested in.
Yeah.
Someone who most of the crypto community believes is about to blow up and become one of the biggest exchanges.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have a problem saying the name of this exchange. We're not under an NDA or anything with them. So we have, as everyone has seen, like some of the community members that we have been promoting Hoge, which the largest followers are Latin American. We've had, several influencers ranging from, 5 million followers to, like 800,000 of, from Latin America, who have reached out to us and said to us, have you guys ever heard of Bitso? Bitso. They are one of the easiest apps to buy. They're very big in Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, many of the Latin American countries. They compared their platform to something like a Robinhood. However, you do actually have wallets that you can withdraw and deposit, which is the opposite of Robinhood, for those who don't know. But I've been trying to get in contact with Bitso for some time, and for everyone here, Coinbase is one of the largest investors in Bitso, and Bitso is really primed to take off over the next couple of years. And we talked to them about our project. I had screenshots on my phone of like really all of the players that have when I say players, all of the athletes that have promoted Hoge. And some of the influencers. So I pulled out my phone real quick and I showed this guy. I'm like, look, we're getting a lot of attention in Latin America, and there's the other thing I want to say to the community is like there are some like influencers and some athletes, and I'm just going to call them famous people with big followers that have bought into Hoge already and have not promoted yet. Like they've reached out to us through the business development email or through, the relationships from the sports agent. So actually, I want to be very specific. A lot of these relationships have come through the sports agents that were early investors in Hoge, and they've been kind of spreading it through their communities. But there are also some people who reach to our business development email, and there are like a decent amount of, big followers and big influencers that have already bought into Hoge. Many of them are in Latin America, and they've kind of said like, look, like, I don't know if it makes sense for me to reach out to my community now. Like so many people are going to say, what's Gate.io? How do I buy there? What's Whitebit? How do I buy there? Maybe I've never been involved in crypto before. How do I use a DEX, meaning Uniswap? So it was for me a really big deal that we finally got in front of Bitso. We got the head of listings contact information, and he said to me, please get in contact with us, before, like I made a joke. I was like, we were thinking of having, where there's a really well-known soccer player who's been invested in Hoge since like week 4. And, he hasn't really wanted to come forward and promote the project for kind of like 2 reasons. One, just kind of following along, trying to make sure that, it's safe. Like, he really he has like a friend who is like very involved in crypto, and his friend told him, like, make sure the project gets audited, make sure you wait till the team doxes, make sure like all like all of the stuff that we've been doing. So I dropped that name for the guy from Bitso, and I was like, honestly, I was thinking of having this athlete tweet out at you guys saying, "Hey, Bitso, when is Hoge getting listed?" And the response from that guy was, "Well, obviously that wouldn't be good for us."
It was no, 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 no. Yeah.
He was like,
It was
"No."
don't do it. Please wait until he said don't do it. Let's talk first very soon. Let's talk first very soon, and then let's have something already set up by the time he does a tweet like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it's a fantastic exchange. There's a reason that almost everyone we met there was talking about how they expect it to blow up very soon. Everyone is trying to invest in them right now because Coinbase, has put in a lot of money. They expect them to blow up quite a bit very soon. So with that, guys, listen, I do got to go. My girlfriend and I are walking up to our dinner right now. But yeah, listen, if there's any questions that anyone has, feel free to reach out. Again, this has been one of the most wild experiences of my life, just getting to be in a room with some of the biggest names in crypto and getting to talk with them and sit down and talk about our project and see how much they believe in it. And hopefully this turns into a lot of really amazing opportunities really soon.
I hope so, man. But I'm sure some of these opportunities, if not all of them, will materialize. But I'm definitely I'm cool with hanging out for a little bit. Like, Hunter, my man, thank you very much, bro. You should definitely jump off and enjoy your dinner. But if there's anyone here that maybe wants to ask questions, I'm willing to take some questions. If I don't know if anyone else from Core wants to jump in and be a speaker as well. I'm open to whatever you guys want to do now.
We got Aloe.
All right, guys, we'll have a good one. It's
later.
been fantastic. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, man.
What's going on, Aloe? We got Aloe already here, and if anyone wants to come up, ask questions, just request, and I'll get you up.
If there's no questions, I can go have dinner as well.
Oh, we got some people connecting. Hold on.
Yeah, let's do it.
We got Jay Rizzo and Mike.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just had a general question that I kind of collected today off of the roadmap that was revised. The first one, what's this Hoge space program that was listed there? And the second one was Q3 U.S. Exchange. Was it pushed back? Is it being updated? Anything like that?
Yeah, so first I'm definitely gonna ask Hogeman to get up here and talk about the space program or comment on however much he's willing to talk about it at this moment. I know some of it is still I'm gonna let him comment on the space program if he's willing to come up here. But as far as the exchange being moved to Q3, if you heard me say earlier, there was one point where the main U.S. exchange that we were targeting, which we did have a commitment from in terms of getting listed. They started to really not reply. It just kind of became like pushing meetings out. Let's talk next week. Let's talk next week. Let's talk next week. And this is while they kept handling some of their SEC filings, and we reached a very senior level in their listing team. Our entire team met with them. We met with their legal counsel. Our legal team has gotten involved with that exchange as well. But, things got to be slow, and, we didn't want to mislead the community and say, one day before the month ends, hey guys, sorry, we weren't able to get this. So, we ended up moving it out to Q3. However, you guys heard everything that I said. And in my opinion, and again, I want to be very careful with what I say. In my opinion, I don't think we're very far away from getting a listing offer. I really do not. But we felt that we did not want to mislead anybody, so we pushed it out to Q3.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Oh, look who it is.
Yeah, right.
We hear you. How are you?
Good. How you doing? That's excellent news Wasso. It was a
Yeah.
good story.
All right, good, man. I'm happy. I'm happy you liked it. My throat hurts.
Yeah, so to answer about the space program, how would I put this? I think it was a little over a month ago. Yeah, it was a little over 6 weeks ago.
It
I
was like 2 months ago, I think, at this, wasn't it?
Was it? Is that how long? I mean, we put together a team really fast.
Yeah, I think it's been like 2 months by now. It's been a while.
Yeah, so this has been, I mean, I don't want to take full ownership of it, but my brainchild, because I was sitting around, Hoge was doing very well and is still doing very well, especially after that news. But, I have no context for what's possible and what's not, especially in the crypto world. So I was like, it's a ridiculous thing that we should do next because there's all the normal, typical crypto roadmap items. We should put something in space. And, I'm a research scientist, so it's actually not outside the realm of possibility for, people I know or even myself to build this project and attempt to execute on it. So and the litmus test was I just walked into the main chat and I said, okay, who wants to help build a satellite? And a few people raised their hands, and so we started building a team. At this point, we have a team of 6 people, scientists and engineers. Some of them I knew personally, and some of them I met in Hoge. And we are working to define exactly what the space program will be and what our objective will be for this mission. So typically, if you want a ride share into space, you would need to do something that the company or institute giving you the ride share wants to do. So we're going to target NASA, and NASA wants science done in space that benefits all of humanity. And I think Hoge wants crypto done in society that benefits all of humanity. So they're kind of copacetic goals. So that's how it got started. And now I told people to put it on the roadmap because it's going to happen. Honey, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I was just gonna add. I mean, because the cat's been kind of out of the bag for a little bit now, but I mean, as far as the details of it, we've been in ongoing talks for the last 6 to 8 weeks with some partners who give us a direct line to NASA. And there's being a cryptocurrency that comes with a lot of inherent risks, and of course that means that anybody that we interact with on a professional level has to do a risk assessment with us. However, we have been building deadlines and roadmaps for both when we get this partnership, because I mean, from what we understand, this shouldn't be a problem. However, even if we didn't get some of these partnerships, what it would look like. So we are going to put something into space regardless. And there's going to be a lot more details about that coming out later this week. We're putting together a whole presentation so everybody kind of understands exactly the details of what goes into this. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's basically it. Is we are lucky enough at Hoge that we have a lot of people that know what they're talking about, and a lot of people that have been in this industry before, and so. Yeah, we're gonna see, hopefully sooner than you think, a piece of Hoge in space.
Yep. And to follow up on that, I wanted to make it clear to everyone that this is not a vanity project. So the point isn't to put the Bitcoin on the moon like I saw someone was doing, or I think SafeMoon was launching up a flash drive. That's a silly thing to me. I take it very seriously that we should accomplish some scientific goal. And it should benefit everybody, either through the scientific advancement, through broader outreach where we involve the community, or through some economic developments in how crypto gains a utility in space. So we're not doing it just to put a Hoge face up there. We're doing it because it's part of exploration. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say 100% because we've talked about this in all of our meetings. Is that we, it's dumb when you see another Doge or whatever. They're just gonna put a little bit of Doge on the moon. Yeah, it's cool, but what use does that give people? So one of our biggest things when talking about what the satellite is going to do is not only allocating part of that satellite to real research that's going to be useful for NASA and some of our partners, but also some, community involvement. So what can we put on the satellite that is really going to involve the community, and what can they interact with? And we have some really good ideas that could possibly be implemented that you'll see within the next coming weeks.
It's exciting. Yeah, I'm super excited about this project. It's going to be so much fun. And it's going to be, is a 2022, 2023 rocket launch. If we go with NASA, you could do sooner if you paid private entities. But we're looking, at the 2-year roadmap, the 5-year roadmap. And if you really want to have a successful satellite program, these things last for 10 years in low Earth orbit. And if you're building multiple ones, you need 10 to 30 years planned out in advance. So that's me personally where I am in this project. And so it's really good news to hear that we have lots of business support from Wasso and Wiser.
Good question, Jay Rizzo.
Thank you, guys. Very bullish right now.
Definitely, man. Like I've been with Hoge for a while. Like I got into Hoge maybe a few weeks after it launched, and man, like I literally said to my wife, like when we were leaving, like I've never felt this good about Hoge. Like through the ups and downs and the market crashing a little bit, like it doesn't change anything for me. For me, I'm very sure of what we need to do to reach, the levels that we're trying to reach. And yeah, man, it was definitely just amazing overall. Definitely very bullish.
There's more people that are jumping up, so if you see speaker under their name, just kind of shout them out and see if they want to make a question, have a question, or make a comment.
Yeah, definitely. If he makes you a speaker and you're up here, I see there's 9 of us up here now. Feel free to ask a question.
I got a question. First of all, thank you guys for kicking ass at the conference. Just so bullish and so happy to hear all of the contacts that you made. And honestly, my first and primary and strongest feeling from all of that is I want to support you. And it kills me a little bit inside to hear that this is all out of pocket. And I want to help financially to cover the costs of both this conference and any upcoming conferences, because I also agree and believe that the face-to-face is super important. So how can I do that? And what mechanism is there for me to help with that, or the whole community?
First, thank you very much, man. I sincerely appreciate your kind words. I personally, and I'm going to go ahead and speak for Hunter, even though he's not here. We spoke before we left, and him and I plan on attending, all of the upcoming conferences. I personally do not want to see donations made towards funding myself and Hunter going to, these events. I would love to see some donations going into marketing, right? Like one of the things we're doing now is we're gathering marketing proposals from several types of companies. We have some that can take on our entire marketing, meaning brand strategy, mission, social media, press releases, writing articles, getting interviews for our team to be able to interact with mainstream media, whether it be video chats, whatever it be. I would love to see, donations made to that. And currently what we're doing is we're gathering these proposals, some, like I said, ranging from someone who owns a small marketing company who's a Hoge holder to somebody who's ran one of the largest organizations in this world as their head of marketing, who stepped down a year ago and now has a marketing company where he employs, I think, like a a dozen or maybe like, I think it's like 15, 16 people, right? So why I'm saying this is there's a wide range of marketing proposals we're seeing now. And as we continue to vet these and negotiate these and, see who's willing to accept Hoge, right? Like that's what I'm looking for, me personally is, and I think I think the community agrees with us, right? Like we would love to be able, like our attorney, right? Our attorney is open to getting paid in Hoge. That's who I want to deal with. Somebody who's a believer in our project, somebody who understands our community. So, I would love to see once we roll out, maybe a couple marketing offers, or perhaps we'll negotiate what we feel is the best one and bring it forward to the community. I would love to see funds go to that, but personally, I definitely won't be accepting any funds to fund future endeavors, but I can definitely assure you that Hoge will have a presence at upcoming conferences. And what people could help me with, please, would be identify these conferences for us. Let us know which ones that you think we should have a presence at, and we will find a way to get there for sure.
Sounds good. I don't think there's going to be any problem raising the funds for the marketing proposals when they happen. And thanks for your hard work.
Definitely, man. Thank you very much for your kind words and for coming up here.
Hey, so I just want to jump on here real quick. I got to put my kids to bed, so I'm going to be real quick. I see James wants to get in. Sorry, man. First off, I want to thank you guys for going out and making those face-to-face connections. You got, it's a big deal. You guys doing a lot for the Hoge project and community, so I do really appreciate y'all going out there and doing that, and then also bringing back and kind of sharing with us all what you guys were able to accomplish and the connections you were able to make. I didn't necessarily have a question. I really wanted to jump on here, if you don't mind, just give a little update on the Patriot Paws charity project that we had a couple weeks ago, if that's cool with you.
Dude, absolutely, man. I'd love to hear it.
Cool. So, if you guys aren't aware, when we did that 24-hour charity stream a couple weeks ago for the Patriot Paws Foundation, we were able to raise over $10,000, both in cash and Hoge donations, which allowed us to get to name 2 puppies that are going to get trained as service dogs for disabled veterans. And the Patriot Paws organization was actually kind enough to allow us to pick 2 dogs that are going to go through the same training class at the same time, which they said they don't typically allow or do. So it's going to be a couple months actually before our dogs go through, but we did a vote on Hoge Nation last week, and it was kind of like blown out of the water results that we're going to have a Hoge puppy and a Doge puppy going through service dog training together in a few months once they acquire the puppies. So I just wanted to give that update that that's where we're at now. We're going to have Hoge and Doge, and they're going to be going through training together. It's going to be pretty cool.
That's amazing, man. Definitely wanted to say first, thank you very much for, bringing this forward and seeing it through all the way, as a community project. We encourage everybody to come forward with, whether it be a charity, a project, and definitely appreciate you bringing this forward and seeing it through and ensuring, its success.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be cool having a Hoge puppy out there, but as well as it's going to kind of do a good I guess relationship / marketing bond with the Hoge and Doge community, which is just another plus. So I'm super excited about that. It's going to be like they said before we'll actually have our puppies acquired and going through training, but I figured I'd drop that update out here now since we're probably going to go quiet on the project for a while.
Definitely. And let us know when you have some pictures, man. We got to make some memes,
Oh, 100%. I told them that they have to give us pictures of the puppies together. It's like a requirement.
Yeah, man. If we could get some pictures of just our guy and then our guy and Doge's guy, and we just start making some memes, that'd that'd be so fun, you know, like that. One other comment, you know, I definitely want to make sure that everyone's having fun, you know, like we got to continue to keep making memes and engaging, new users and just having fun. Like the biggest takeaway, like even from like all of these Bitcoin maximalists at this event was that like, yeah, we understand the value of meme coins. You know, you continue to bring people into this space. It's fun, it's engaging, it's entertaining, and that's exactly what people are looking for. Is they're looking to be having fun and be parts of, you know, communities with good vibes and support, and that's and how we're going to do that is just by continuing to make more memes. So I'm looking forward to, you know, the official Hoge pup service dog that hopefully, you know, a lot of memes will follow, man.
Absolutely, and I also one other caveat. Speaking with them, they said that because obviously not all the dogs end up being cut out for for the job of being a service dog. So in the event that one or either of the puppies don't make it completely through training, they have asked if I would be interested in being an adopter of the puppies. So in that event, we may have a Hoge and Doge puppy within the community, even if they don't make it through training for one reason or another.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I know there's been definitely a lot of community members that have talked about, you know, I've actually received messages from like some, you know, well-known celebrities that are like tweet out like, what kind of pup should I get? Like it could be awesome, you know, helping find a home for, you know, the Hoge pup. Yeah, I love it, man. I love the creativity.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, I just want to get that update. Thanks for the kind words. I got to bounce. I got to get these kids to bed. So y'all have a good night.
Have a good night, man. Thank you. Do we have anyone else that is trying to get up and ask a question? If not, maybe we can say, you know, maybe in like 7 minutes, maybe like right around 8 o'clock Eastern time, we can call this Twitter Spaces an end until the next one.
Did James already ask or say something? And then we got Hoge.
Yeah, I want to say
Finance
something,
Brazil.
but I got my smoke alarm going off right now. No, but I'm new to Hoge. I just I bought some about 3 or 4 days ago. I was reading about you guys, and I'm new to the community, and I'm full force all in. While I was on hold just then, I was about to buy some more. I'm just full force. I'm all in with you guys, and the question that I had though is I want to know: are you guys like in the future? Do you plan on? Maybe you've already spoke on this. I don't know, but are you guys doing anything like a wallet or blockchain or anything like that?
Was the question, are we gonna do our own wallet? Was that the
Yes,
question?
yes.
Yeah, so like one of the companies that we met at the convention, you know, they built Trust Wallet, and they have the software to build a branded wallet for Hoge. You know, so we're going to be getting a proposal from them, and we'll be putting it out in front of the community to see if this is something that is of interest to the community as a whole. So hoping, you know, we'll see how the community responds to that. But yeah, that's definitely something. It's funny you asked that. It's definitely something that came up.
Well, I want to appreciate everything you guys are doing, and I noticed, that you said something about Safe Moon earlier, the tactic that they were taking, and I just appreciate how you guys want to stand on your own and don't want to be like the rest of the crowd.
I appreciate you saying that, man. Like, full transparency. Everything we try and do is really in the best interest of the community, and just trying to push, us forward in a direction where we could be more mainstream. And so far it's, been going well, and hopefully, everyone continues to do the right things, and we continue to engage, more users, and continue to grow organically, and hopefully, once we get these marketing proposals out there, we should, get in front of a lot more eyes.
Well, I want everybody to have a great host night, and you have a good night too.
Thank you, James.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Really appreciate what you guys have been doing. Thank you very much. I have a question about a recent listing offers that had not regarding the U.S. exchange, but that post that we had on the Hoge forum. It
The
was
one,
top 5, top 15, and L Bank one that was.
yes.
If you have any updates regarding this post.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So we had the post went up on Hoge Nation, right? We currently have an offer from a top 5 exchange, which is based on Coin Market Cap rankings. I'm actually going to check right now because Coin Market Cap rankings always change, and I just want to make sure that exchange is still up there. Yeah, they're still up there. So we have an offer from a top 5 exchange on Coin Market Cap. We also have an offer from a top 15 exchange. They're still in the top 15 on Coin Market Cap. And we definitely have an offer from L Bank. How do I say this? I don't know if there were so many comments and so much feedback that came back that I think we're kind of at a point now where we're not really sure, which one the community actually wants. Like I think from my understanding, and this is definitely something we could talk about more, is that the community wanted to do a marketing budget to support marketing, and I felt the community was interested in L Bank. Um, I also felt that the community at this point was not interested in the top 5 exchange simply because of the funds that would be required to, get listed. And given that exchange is not a U.S. based exchange, my takeaway at least, and hopefully, guys, feel free to jump in here or throw some comments in Telegram. Like, everyone's concerned about a U.S. exchange, right? Like for me, at least from my understanding, the number one goal is a U.S. exchange. So, that was thrown up on Hoge Nation. I felt marketing was, being discussed as one of the most important things, which is why we're collecting, marketing proposals currently, while, attempting to get a U.S. offer, and hopefully in the coming weeks. So that's kind of where I think we are now. Maybe we could throw up a poll again and just, see what everyone feels. But that was kind of my takeaway, was that, the community wasn't too interested in the top 5 or the top 15 purely because of the price and not having access to U.S. users.
Yeah, sure. I felt the same. I think the last one was the most liked for everyone, and the marketing campaign.
Yeah, and I think the L Bank option is not. I don't think it's too tough. Like, and again, I'm gonna keep an eye out on like some of the messages in our Telegram group. Like, maybe we maybe we tell the community, let's see if we could raise 20 grand, 10,000 in Hoge, 10,000 in USDT, and see if the community wants to move forward with L Bank. Like I've always felt like, for me, I've always felt like when opportunities like this come up, maybe we throw all of them up, create a donation wallet for each. At the same time, there's the fear of like, if you do that, it takes away, focus from getting one done sooner, because the funds are being spread apart. But I personally don't think there's an issue with maybe throwing up a donation wallet for L Bank. It's $20,000. They have a lot of meme coins on there. In my conversations with them, I asked them what kind of, volume could we expect, and they said that they would be shocked if they saw less than $150,000 daily of trading volume. So it could be a good option for us.
Yes, sure. Thanks. I believe that would be as well.
Yeah, no,
Thank
definitely,
you.
man. Thank you for coming up and asking. What do we think? Do we want to see if there's a few more questions, and then we'll call it a night?
Somebody connecting right now, Juan.
Let's get them up.
Work. The first question I have was every time we get onto a centralized exchange, where do we pull this liquidity from? Is it from people transferring their coins to the exchange, or does the exchange pull the liquidity? That's the first one. The second one is it the goal to have, Toast traded simply just only on centralized exchanges, or will there always be like a Uniswap option?
Yeah. So again, I don't speak for the entire community. I'll give my opinion, and I'm sure I'll hear if the community agrees with me or not. I personally think we should never leave a DEX. We are a decentralized finance token, and we should always be on Uniswap. That is just my personal, belief. As far as like how is the liquidity handled, everyone is a little bit different. Hogeman, I'm going to ask you in a second to describe the liquidity, how it was handled on BKEX and how it was handled on Whitebit. I wasn't a part of those exactly. So I personally put up the liquidity for Big One. For Gate.io, it was done through donations from the community. We put up the donations as liquidity. And then I know there was a group of people that put up the liquidity for BKEX, I believe. I don't know, Joseph, if you want to comment on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear about liquidity. When you talk about liquidity in a decentralized exchange, I mean, it goes into a pool and people can trade in and out of that. They can make swaps, right? And liquidity for a centralized exchange generally means somebody will provide them with tokens so that they can make a market in their exchange, because their exchange works very differently from a decentralized exchange. So that they are able to provide a market and keep trading going in like the slow hours, 3 a.m. when nobody is on, because for various reasons, they need to continue making trades. And so when you make a deal with a central exchange, it's a business. They may put in their contract, so you have to provide us with 100K of your token and 100K dollars, and we will then take that and make the market for you. Another option is they say, you don't give us liquidity, we'll list your token, but you have to make the market. So you can bring in a third party that will then go and act as a market maker and make trades for those slow periods and even during the fast periods. And the hope is that you would attract then additional market makers, and they would all compete against each other, and you have then what's called an organic or healthy market. So lots of trading is happening. Your token or your coin is then very interesting to many people. So what you're talking about right now, Wasso, is these people want to list us and they want to do the work to make the market. So somebody has to put forward the money. For BKEX, it was private investors. For Whitebit, it was private investors. I mean, it was people in the project that were close to the deal and said, I have extra cash on hand, so I can provide this service. That's all it is.
Yeah, so the other question that I had was the burn happens regardless if it's a centralized or decentralized exchange. I know that. But the reflections only occur in decentralized wallets. I know that there are other coins that do work with decentralized exchanges to have these reflections even on the centralized exchanges. I don't know if this is true or not, or if this is something that you guys have looked at because I know that once Hoge picks up, a lot of people are going to go to the centralized exchanges. The process, even though for us it might be simple, for a lot of newbies, buying on MetaMask or Trust Wallet, is still a little bit complicated for them.
Yeah, definitely. So when we approach exchanges or when we're negotiating with exchanges, we always ask if they're able to distribute the reflections to the users on their platform. So reflections take place only on the blockchain. So when you're, for example, we're listed on Whitebit, right? When you're operating within Whitebit as a user trading on their platform, you are within one wallet that's on the Hoge blockchain, right? That wallet there, it really has to do with how the exchange develops their protocols and how their hierarchy is set up. If they're able to receive their reflections and then properly allocate them to everybody. I
Okay.
have yet to find an exchange that has the ability to do that. Like when our number one goal is to get every Hoge user their reflections. Now, if an exchange is not able to do it, we have a conversation with them, say, okay, are you able to do like airdrops? But even that, the
Hmm.
exchanges are like, it's a lot of math. Like, how do we determine the airdrop? Like 1 minute somebody might have 100 million Hoge, next minute they have 10 million. But when we're doing the reflections, when we're doing the airdrops, maybe weekly or monthly, someone could have had 100 million a day before and now they have 10 million and they're only getting 10 million worth of reflections, but the day before they had 10 times. Like it just doesn't work. And
Right.
that and, that,
I
and
don't,
that's
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to name drop other tokens, uh, but there are some tokens that actually do this. Like, one of their centralized exchange partners, I think, is Bitmart, and they do a monthly like redistribution or reflection of the burn that happens on their exchange to their wallet holders. I get what you're saying that, to track everything is like a pain in the butt for the centralized exchanges. Um, I don't know. I think it is doable. I don't know if maybe I'm wrong on that. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
No, I don't. I definitely don't think you're wrong. Like, I personally believe that there is a way for exchanges, and I think the more deflationary tokens, and these deflationary tokens are relatively new, and exchanges, like everyone else, are going to continue to adapt and build infrastructure to accommodate new projects. And for me, like I know a little bit about Bitmart. Actually, I know quite a bit about Bitmart. We haven't engaged them for listing yet, but now that I did not know that, to be honest, Bitmart was able to do this with reflections. But I
Yeah.
will I
If you
will
want me to name drop, I can tell you
I know
guys
who it
it's
is.
Safe Moon.
I know who it is. Yeah, it's okay. I know who it is. But yeah, you can name drop as well. When you said Bitmart, I knew it was SafeMoon. So yeah, definitely. I'll reach out to Bitmart and we'll see if we can get an offer from them, and we'll
Yeah, that's
discuss with
awesome.
them how they're able to do the reflections and exactly how it works, and we'll see if it's something the community um would be happy with. But like we've even explored with like one of our earliest exchanges, they told us that they can't do the reflections, but rather they could maybe pool all of the funds and send it to charity.
Right,
But
right,
sometimes like these exchanges, like they're busy, they don't want to deal with
right,
like calculating the reflections and then figuring out what charity to give it to. So they
right.
tell us to just exclude their wallet from receiving any redistribution. And this is obviously great to everyone that's holding on a decentralized wallet like a MetaMask, a Coinbase wallet, Trust Wallet, etc. But of course, it does no good for the users on those exchanges. But I definitely wanted you to know, man, that this is something that is definitely on our minds. And I wasn't kidding when I said, like, we want the user, regardless of whether they're on a centralized or a decentralized wallet, to receive the reflection like in real time as it happens.
Right.
That is the goal.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, guys.
Definitely, man. Thank you for coming forward.
We have Leo jumping up here with us. Hold on.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that Bitmart thing. Actually, we have been approached by them, and they've been giving us constant updates on their activities. Just to throw that out, you, I don't think we've spoken about it, Wasso, but they have been interested in us for some time now.
Really? Yeah, definitely. Let's get connected with them. You just like literally
Out of left field for you.
On my notes of things to do, get contact with Bitmart. I literally just crossed it off and I said get in contact with Leo.
I apologize for giving you the extra workload, but I will take credit once this happens.
Nice, definitely, man. Maybe we'll mint an NFT for you.
I would love that. That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome, man, for sure. I'm gonna add you really quickly. I just started following you, and if we get listed on Bitmart, I'll get you an NFT.
Man, that would be absolutely amazing. I would love that.
I'll forward the information to you. They've been consistently sending us like traffic updates, ranking and marketing updates, and everything they're doing. So they're definitely staying on top of trying to make sure that we don't forget about them.
Oh, beautiful. All right, very good, man. Yeah, so we'll get in contact with them as early as tomorrow, and we'll see if we can get an offer and get this in front of the community as well.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Quick question. You had mentioned earlier that we contacted someone to help us design perhaps like a Hoge wallet, right? Is that going to work something like MetaMask where we hold our Hoge in it? So that's question number one. And number two, if we were to, for example, transfer our tokens to the Hoge wallet, there's going to be a burn, right? Is the smart contract set up in a way where you can do a grace period, maybe like, 2-3 days for people to transfer their tokens into a Hoge wallet without having to undergo the burn?
No. And that is, so first, yes, the company that we met a company that has the ability to create a Hoge wallet for us. So that's the answer to question number one. Question number two is there are no grace periods. And this is really the beauty of blockchain. Everyone knows exactly what they're getting into from day one. We don't have the ability to, stop the burn. And honestly, that wouldn't even be something that I would support personally. This is I don't like when things, kind of change rules. And that's like the whole idea of getting into, digital assets is that exactly what the rules are up front and those rules never change. So I guess that would be my answer to question two. I hope everybody feels the same.
Yeah, no, great answer. It's just I'm sure that many of the community members would be wondering that because everyone doesn't want to lose that 2%, right? But everybody wants to support the Hoge wallet if and when it comes out.
Yeah, definitely, man. I've gotten this question a bunch of times, as I'm sure a lot of people have, but it doesn't sound fair. You know what I mean? Even if it was something we were able to do, it wouldn't sound fair to do a grace period. Like the rules are set up front and they're not changing, and that's really how it should be. Transparent and fixed rules.
So what's the supply currently?
So there's an awesome website. Recommend everybody here checks it out. Hoge.report. HOGE dot or the period report REPORT. There you will find our price. You will find the burned tokens. you will find the remaining tokens in circulation, as well as every link to our social media page, our contract, our website, the exchanges, our audit. For anyone that hasn't checked out that site, I definitely recommend you take a look at it.
I'm going to piggyback on that. And on top of that report, that website, there are direct links to CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. So if you support the project, make sure you go daily and just click the like button in those pages because it gets us trending.
So what do you think, Flea? Maybe we take one more question and we call it a night? I don't want to bore everyone to death. We've been here for already 2 hours and 15 minutes. I appreciate all your time, guys. You know, like I really do, you know. I know everyone here is invested, maybe new investors, maybe long-term holders, and you know, we're all trying to build this together, and I really appreciate everyone's time.
So what's the actual plan for the burn?
Say that again?
What's the actual plan for burning tokens? Or, like, what is the actual setup that you guys have?
Yeah, so the way the smart contract runs now, so when we launched, there was 1 trillion tokens, right? Immediately, 50% of which was burned. So 500 billion tokens went into a true burn wallet. This is not a Vitalik owned wallet. This is a true, 000x burn wallet on the Ethereum blockchain. So day one, so first, before I say on day one, there's a 2% redistribution that takes place on every single transaction. So day one, transaction one, 50% is in the burn wallet, 50% is the total supply. That means 1% is being burned day one, and 1% is being distributed to all users. As users are transacting, trading, moving Hoge from wallet to wallet, the burn takes place, this 2%, call it a tax. So over time, the burn rate increases because the burn wallet grows and it collects more Hoge. So it gets more of the reflections. And you could see on our website, hogefinance.com, there's a pretty cool infographic that shows, when we first started, it was, 1 trillion tokens, day one, 50-50, which is a 1% burn, 1% distributed among all the holders. And then once it reaches, a 70% burn, a 30% in circulation, the redistribution of that 2% will look like 1.4% going to the burn wallet and 0.6% going to redistribution. So as time goes on, the burn percentage of every reflection increases. So Hoge is going to continue to be more and more and more scarce as time goes on and more transactions take place.
Can I have the last question?
Yeah, go for it.
So the Hoge app is amazing. I've tried it; it's absolutely amazing. I'm just wondering if it's gonna be in the app stores, because sending people links. Well, first of all, we tell people not to click on links, but then the only way to share the app is through the link. And people are just a little suspicious of that. So I'm just wondering if it's gonna be on the Play Store or Google Store, whatever. If we have plans for that.
So, man, this is the first question that got me. I actually don't know the answer to this. I don't know if Hogeman, if you can comment on this, or anyone else up here.
I think I can field this one. So we
Thank you.
absolutely can get on the Google and Apple Store. They will both take percentages of all proceeds from the app, though. So that's one thing to be considered in this. The other thing is that we would need to sign up with them as the Hoge Association business in order to accomplish these goals. So they have like a certain requirements. So it is possible, it is doable. We have talked about it, but it would require some extra steps.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have the very last question?
I want to add something
Absolutely.
to what Wasso was saying earlier about the burn, that as the supply dwindles, yes, the burn percentage will go up. But to address some of the concerns that the community has mentioned in the past, the supply will never be zero because a certain percentage gets transacted. And as the price goes up, the amount of transacted tokens will decrease. And so over time, the amount of tokens burned will taper off. Where this tapers off, it's going to depend largely on the trading volume. But many people are concerned that, oh, is the supply going to continue going down to zero? And that's never going to happen.
Exactly. We also have, I believe it's 9 decimals in our price. So like right now we're talking about Hoge in the millions, the 100 millions, the 100,000s. There'll be a day when we're talking about Hoge in the thousands, the 10,000s for your average transaction, and that's really the main reason why this will never go to zero. And I always like to give the example, when Bitcoin first came out, there was that famous article about somebody buying a pie of pizza for 1,500 Bitcoin, which is worth like $75 million now. And now if you want to go buy one pie of pizza with your Bitcoin, it's like 0.000002 Bitcoin. So same idea.
Okay, I want to say my thing now. If you can hear me.
Yeah, we hear you. Let's hear it.
Okay, cool. So this isn't going to be a very hard thing to answer.
I'm sorry, man. I think you cut up a little bit. I don't know if anyone else could hear him.
I think he's muted himself.
Oh, Christ. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I was about to say maybe has been defeated by the fact that I just accidentally muted myself. But I am connecting through BlueStacks on desktop. I just want to mention that if anybody wants to not use their phone or doesn't have Twitter on their phone or something like that, or wants to access through desktop, there's a few ways to do that. I use BlueStacks, but also I and someone else restream this thing. So if you go to the voice chat on Discord, often you'll find that I'm restreaming it here. And there's a Hoge Radio Twitch account, I guess, that's been restreaming it as well on Twitch. So if you hear anybody say that they can't access these Spaces chats, tell them to check those places or to install the desktop emulator like BlueStacks or something like that. So that's all I got.
Thank you for sharing that, man. I didn't know that. I did not know that. All right. With that, I know my man Flea is down to, I think he said 3 or 4% battery life. So with that, I think we should maybe close off. Thank you very much again, everybody, for your time. And looking forward to the next time we all connect again. If anyone has any questions, feel free to, message me or the official Hoge. And again, we're available on Telegram all the time. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope everyone has a really good night. And thank you again for taking your time to listen to our recap of the Bitcoin 2021 convention. Thank you.